Hey, welcome to the She Built podcast. This is Shannon, founder and CEO of She Built, where we guide no BS women in rebuilding their bodies and minds to create thriving lifestyles they love. Hey guys, one of my favorite TV series is Criminal Minds. I don't know if it's like an Enneagram 8 thing or a cop wife thing or what, but I just really love crime dramas and I love Criminal Minds. One of my favorite characters, or my favorite character in the series, is Spencer. Matthew Gray Gubler is his name, I believe, in real life. Kind of had a little crush on him too. But there's this one scene in Criminal Minds that has always stuck to me. I was watching the show and it just, for some reason, it stood out to me. It reminds me so much of how we approach lifestyles, right? And lifestyle change. He said in every chess game, they're all essentially the same, right? There's an aggressive opening, a patient mid-game, and an inevitable checkmate. And I stopped and I'm thinking about that. And God, how similar does that sound to the stages of change and the processes that we go through when we're trying to better ourselves? There's this aggressive opening where you're determined. You are at that stage of change where it is like, I am ready to take action and I'm going to do all the things. I'm going to eat healthy. I'm going to work out. I'm going to clean out my closet. I'm going to do all the things, right? You have this surge of motivation where you could conquer the world, okay? So you go to the grocery store, you buy all the fruits and veggies, you meal prep some meals, you join a workout class, you have some friends, you try a new supplement, whatever that looks like for you, there's an aggressive opening where you're super motivated. That lasts for a period of time. Typically, it's a pretty short period of time. The patient mid-game here is where a lot of us get off track. We don't allow for a patient mid-game. We go right to the inevitable checkmate. We let the opponent win. We don't take the time to allow ourselves to get to that place where we are the winner at the inevitable checkmate. The patient mid-game is where it's at. If you don't take time and thoughtfully, I'm not a chess player, but if I was, I'm assuming that you have to take time to really plan out your moves. You have to look ahead. You have to see what the opponent's doing. Look at the environment of the chessboard. What is happening here? From a third-person perspective, really take a patient look at it. That's what I like to think about She Built VIP is. We spend 24 weeks. This is our patient mid-game. We're building awareness. We're aware of our surroundings. We start to discover what we like and dislike about healthy lifestyle choices. What exercises do you enjoy? What do you like about them? What do you dislike about them? How do they make you feel? How do they make you feel at the beginning? How do you feel at the end? What does your body feel like? When you start to eat different foods and adjust the way that you're eating, how does it feel, the taste and texture of the food? What do you like about it? What do you really hate about it? What things are you willing to sacrifice in order to get to your goal? What things are you not willing to sacrifice to get to your goal? We don't allow ourselves the time to be patient here. We want to rush into the aggressive opening and we allow the opponent to sweep our legs and take us out before we've even had a chance to become aware of where we are at. The patient mid-game requires patience. And if you're like me, patience is a difficult thing. We want a result right now. We want to get to the finish line right now. I want to lose 10 pounds yesterday, Shannon. Get me there. But that's not really what you want. What you want is the feeling. What you're chasing is a feeling. It's not a number. I know way too many people that have done this process and they've gotten to that number. They've achieved it. They've arrived. And guess what? They're still left feeling as empty as they ever were at the very beginning. And then you're really clueless. You're like, wait a minute, what happened here? I reached a point in my life where I was like that. I was a personal trainer in the gym every day, high intensity workouts. Honestly, I was working out so much that I didn't even have time to eat. So my body fat percentage was at like 13%. I was super fit. I mean, I could have been on the cover of fitness magazines. And I was the most discontent I have ever been in my entire life. I was utterly obsessed with, am I the fittest person in the room? When I was at the pool, is there anybody here that looks better than me? How awful does that sound now? But that's what totally overtook my mind. I became aware of the fact that Shannon, that's not healthy. You have a super fit body and yet you are completely and totally unsatisfied. I decided then that I was going to take a year off from everything health and fitness. I stopped working out. I started just eating food. I wasn't thinking about counting grams or calories or anything like that. I just started living my life. I allowed myself to just let go and enjoy life. I did not work out for a year. And I remember that following year when I went back to the pool, my body fat percentage had gone up, my size had gone up, I'd gained weight, and I could have cared less. I completely let go of all the bullshit stuff that I was stuffing into my mind, and I allowed myself just to be Shannon, mom, wife, and just enjoy life. Eventually I came back to working out, but with a much better, healthier mindset now. My purpose in it was totally different than where I had set out for it to be before. And that's my hope for all women. I feel like way too many women are in this endless cycle of aggressive openings and inevitable checkmate. And there's never contentment and happiness that's found. You're running in circles and it's exhausting and you're never getting what you really want because you're not allowing yourself to take the patient mid-game time, right? And guess what? When you start learning chess, I assume, there's a pretty heavy learning curve. You can't just jump in and be patient and start making all the right moves. No, you're going to mess up. You're going to lose a lot of games. You're going to trip and stumble and it's going to be a mess. I want you to have that messy time here with me, with coaches, with other women that are walking out the same things that you are. A safe place to trip and fall and get back up again, to be supported, to be reminded of why you're doing this in the first place, the feeling that you're chasing. All too often we just get sucked in to what the world tells us we need to be, what the world says we need to look like, what the world says we need to behave like, and this is a time where it's just like, screw it, I give up. I'm done shoving myself into a box. I'm going to sit and take some time to figure out who the fuck I am. Excuse my language. I get very passionate about this. For a very long time, I was in that box. I know what it feels like. You feel like, how do I even begin to do this? I've spent, Shannon, it's been 10, 20, 30, 40 years I've been playing this game. Where do I even begin? That's what I'm here for. It's one tiny baby step at a time. And when you take that first one, then there's the next one, and there's the next one. And guess what? There's no rush. You have the rest of your life to start discovering who you are again. There is no finish line. That inevitable checkmate can be way off in the future. You can be as patient as you need to be to allow yourself to figure out who you are again. And nothing does my heart more good than when I see one of our She Built VIPs open that door. And all of a sudden, all the things that we've been trying to teach and all the concepts and all the things that they've been shoving aside for so long, all of a sudden it clicks. And they're like, you know what? You're absolutely right. And then they begin to have fun. It's just fun again. What would that look like for you to just have fun in your life? Yeah, there's good days, there's bad days, there's good, bad weeks, months, years, but let's just learn to have fun with it. Let's learn to embrace and be patient and allow ourselves to have a place in there, right? Just give yourself a seat at the table, for crying out loud. Your life is not just all the things around you. It's not just your job and your family. You deserve a place at that table as well. That's why we do She Built. And the evidence is right there. When you go to the She Built VIP group, when you join, and even in the I Am She Built group, where this is just a community of like-minded women, you can see it. You can see it. And it's a really beautiful thing. After being in the fitness industry for nearly 20 years, I said, you know what? Fitness is great, taking care of our body so we can do the physical things that we love for the rest of our life. That's a huge part of this, but it's not the only piece. And when we're focusing on what this looks like rather than what this can do, you're way misguided. That's why I got out of personal training. I had way too many weight loss challenges that I led. Women would come in and they'd do their measurements and their weight at the beginning of the challenge, and they'd be crying. You know, they're fully aware of what they weigh and how much space they take, and they're crying. And then at the end of it, some had lost a couple pounds, some had lost 20 pounds, some had lost no pounds. And there we are at the end of it, crying again because they didn't win, or because they didn't do as well as this person over here. Or, but look, now I have the skin. There's never contentment. And I got so sick of it. I remember one day I was in a Zumba class or something. It was right after we did our weigh outs for that challenge. And women were coming in just like so sad. After doing so much, they'd worked so hard. And I kind of just let loose. And I said, enough's enough. When does this end? When does it end for you? When does this struggle, when does this push and pull stop? You're the only one that can choose when this stops and when your new life can begin. I can promise you that there is nobody that's going to come up, a knight in shining armor, and be like, here, honey, let me take you out of this mess. Nobody's going to do it. You have to be that one. And that's why I love that we have She Built VIP, because that can be your next step, where when you finally decide, okay, it's time I do this for myself, you have a place to go. You're not on your own. You don't have to do it by yourself. It's a big, scary, daunting thing, but when you do it with people beside you that are supporting you, that know the next steps you need to take, it becomes so much less pressure, and you can actually enjoy the process. So, have you ever had an aggressive opening, a patient mid-game, and or an inevitable checkmate? What has that looked like in your life? I really encourage you to write that down today. At what times have you had that process happen? Have you allowed yourself to have a patient mid-game? What did that look like? How did the checkmate end? And here's the other thing to this, is that's a continual process. I'm learning things about myself every day where it's like, dang it, Shannon, you really need to improve on that. That's something that you've let slide. But I don't think of it as like a, man, you should have known better. No, I think of it as a new opportunity for me to grow. That's a new thing for me to explore. I'm excited about, I'm 40 today. I'm really excited about what the rest of my life looks like. I am excited about where I'm going to be at 50 and 60 and 70 and 80 and 90 and 100. I'm really excited for those years to come because I know every decade that comes along, there's going to be a new learning opportunity for me. I want that excitement for you. Thanks for spending time with me today. If you're listening to the podcast, I'm out here by our pond. The horses are roaming around. I see Cotton Ball over there. Let's see if we can eyeball. No, we won't be able to eyeball them, but they're over there. Beautiful things happen when you take the time for yourself. You are the center of your universe, and you're the center of so many other people's universe. It's about damn time you start taking care of that person. Thanks for listening. Hey, thanks for listening today. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook. That's Shannon Klepak. You can also join my exclusive Facebook group, I Am She Built, Thriving Lifestyle Transformation, as well as following me on Instagram @SheBuilt. Thanks for listening.